Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the December 14th Erie MPO meeting. At this time, we'll call the meeting to order. And is there any public comment on the agenda items?
Yes, I have comment. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, Freda.
Okay, so I guess I am concerned about some of what was in the public involvement plan, that there really needs to be more of an attempt to put this meeting in a place that's transit accessible. The suggestion that was made to have a study session with the city was not, it was kind of glossed over, that it was the city's responsibility to inform the residents. And I don't think that's the point. Okay, also, several of the projects that are on the agenda on the plan, I don't understand when are the APS going to happen on West 26th Street. It looks like most of the work has been done, but I haven't seen any APSs added. Also, there's still no public involvement for the Green Garden Bikeway plan, and something was said to me about a December meeting. It's already December 14th, and there's been no notice of a meeting. I'm also wondering what's going on with the Transit Strategic and Development Plan. I keep hearing for, at least a year or so that they're going to have public involvement, and there has been none. I'm also concerned with the PennDOT work on West 12th Street, that there is just a lot of issues over accessibility, both during and after the construction is completed. There's a lot of non-accessibility up to all of the corners of an intersection during the construction. And the way the various parts of the project have been situated, it's going to be a very torturous access for people with wheelchairs and for people who are blind and visually impaired, who are cane travelers. It's going to be very difficult to maintain orientation because they're going to lose their sense of direction the way they have to weave through all the different pieces of structure there. So that brings me to the concern that I have, that I understand there is no longer a regional ADA coordinator for PennDOT. There needs to be a point of contact. There needs to be a person who can be contacted by the actual people concerned. It's not, you have to have somebody who is up to date on that. If that's not true, then I'd like to know that, but I was told that by the ADA coordinator. But that project on West 12th Street points to that. There is really a need for people to understand better when they're designing projects what exactly people who use wheelchairs and who are blind need in terms of accessibility. And it certainly looks that way. And as far as safe routes to street, Raspberry Street is a good example of an ignored need to improve safe access for people who walk to school. Many children walk on Raspberry Street from West 21st Street up to Strong Vincent School. Thank you.
Thank you, Freda. The only one I can really comment on is your first point as far as the accessibility and availability of the MPO meetings. The reason we are having them currently at the Summit Township building, I know they are not on the bus route, but they do have the technology to provide for us for online meetings. And Emily and I have discussed this just recently as last week, that as soon as the intermodal center can accommodate our technological requests, that will certainly be considered as a a site to host the meetings. Anything else I really can't comment on. I don't know if there's anybody that would like to touch on any of her inquiries, perhaps Brian.
Sure. Yeah, I think we can probably at least touch on a few in no particular order. We did make a change in the district where we did used to have a dedicated position that was an ADA coordinator for many years now. We've had that. We've changed that. So that person was Danny Dylon. Most recently, it was Bob Zarecki before she was in that role. So we've made a change, but it really doesn't mean that we've lost the expertise that we have. We will get out an updated point of contact for those types of questions, but really probably our customer care center online is the best way for the public to share any concerns that they have about a project that PennDOT is leading or anything like that. So anybody can find that online. If you just search PennDOT customer care, it'll get you to the place where you can input your concern. And we're measured by how we follow up with those things. So we are on a timeline. You will get a response to those kinds of inquiries. Excuse me. Whereas just calling a number, whether or not you have the right number for different positions is probably not as efficient a way to get a hold of us over things like that. I don't want to put Ron and Courtney on the spot. I don't know for 26th Street, the question was about APS and signals. We did break that. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong or fill in details. We broke that project into two separate projects. One was the paving, the other was signals related. So you're correct that you see work that was done there. The paving work was done under a separate project. The signals project is coming through this calendar 2023. Okay, so letting in, about when it's the first quarter. So letting in first quarter, traffic signal equipment is on a long delay right now. So I don't know exactly how long it takes now. You guys have any updated numbers on that or any?
Heard is less than it was.
Okay.
It's still quite a delay.
Yeah.
I think it was like 10 months, now it's more like 16 months.
Okay. Yeah. Pre-pandemic, probably 6 months was around a normal, and it, like Ron just said, if you didn't hear it, got longer during the pandemic and since, and now we're seeing a little bit quicker. Anyways, all that to say that it'll let in the first quarter, but they might not have those materials until later in the 2023 calendar year, and I'm not honestly sure how the timing of that will work out. We'll do everything we can to get them installed as quickly as we can, but if the contractor can't get the materials, then it may not be until 2024 that we see that new equipment. I think
Okay.
that's probably, yeah.
Great, thank you, Brian.
Thanks. Yeah.
Is there any other public comment on agenda items? If not, do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the September 14th meeting?
Jason, I'll make that motion.
All right, I have a motion and a second by Mr. Welka from Summit Township. Any discussion? Alrighty. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All righty. Moving on in the agenda to 2021 to 2024 TIP program. Emily has an update on the e-ballot amendment vote. Please, Emily.
Yes, so we had an e-ballot vote between our last two meetings, and it passed with a vote of 16 in favor of the 23 voting members. Since we are at a public meeting now, would anyone like to change their vote or add their vote to this list?
Harbor people vote yes.
Okay, all right, Harbor Creek will vote yes. All right, that will be entered.
Summit will vote yes. Also.
Okay. So that will be entered into the record of the official minutes. So we'll have 18 votes in favor. Thank you.
Certainly. Is that it on A?
That is it.
All right, and then we move on. Is Brandon available joining us today?
Yes, thanks, Tim.
Hey,
I'm
Brandon.
online here. How are you guys doing? Okay, you can hear me okay, sounds like?
Absolutely.
All right. So for this meeting, since the November 9th TAC meeting, there were no regular administrative actions for the 2023 Erie Highway and Bridge tip. They're, committed from within just the region, but there were 3 actions committed through the statewide section that are up here on the screen and in your packets as informational items. So I was just going to touch on those since we don't have a lot this time. Administrative action number 1 is an increase to the con phase for the Zook Road Zimmerly to 26th Street project to allow for AC conversion using Spike HSIP funds, HSIP being the Highway Safety Improvement Program. And this came from the HSIP set aside reserve line item, which is with the statewide section. Sorry about that, I lost my thought here. Administrative action number 2 was adding 2 transportation alternative set aside projects, or TASA, as we say for short in the office, to the 2023 Erie tip using the statewide TAP reserve line item. And these TAP funds were added in federal fiscal year 2023 and 2024. And the last administrative action on the next page was to cash flow the construction phase on the I-79 Erie County ITS addition interchange TSMA project. And also the I-90 Erie County ITS addition and SR 19 TSMA projects. The TSMA reserve line item was used as the source of funds to maintain fiscal constraint. Those were all we had. Again, they're just informational items, so they do not require any action by the committee, but I am willing to take questions if you have any.
Any questions of Brandon? All right, TYB, thank you, Brandon, as I like to use with all your.
New acronym.
Yes, yeah.
I like that. I've gotten the other one way too much.
Just trying to keep the meeting rolling quickly, that's all. Then moving on to Emily, as far as an update on the public participation plan, and a vote will be needed, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So we have put the public participation plan out for public comment, 45-day public comment period, 2 public meetings. All of the comments received are written at the end of the document in an Appendix A. So hopefully everyone has had a chance to read over the public participation plan with the comments included. And since we have gone through the public process for this, we can now adopt this as the MPO's official plan, if someone would like to make a motion.
Do we have- All right, motion by Matt Waldinger. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All right. Second by Mark Walko Summit. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And anyone
Aye.
opposed? Anyone opposed? All right, motion carries. Moving on to agenda item number 6, UPWP funding update. I think there was a few submittals, correct, Emily, or at least one, and then a vote will be needed.
Yes.
Okay.
So we had 2 funds available. These were extra funds that the MPO is receiving from the IIJA bill for transportation planning. So we had one, which was 19,000 in general transportation planning funds a year, and then a safe and accessible fund, which was $7,875 a year for specifically complete streets policies. So we did receive one application for the general transportation planning funds from Northeast Township and Northeast Borough. And we do have Gus here from Northeast Township, and I know Pat is online from Northeast Borough. Would you like to say anything about this study?
Well, we had a meeting with PUC last week, and rail companies come out and they said we'd like to close this crossing because it's an unsafe crossing. There's been probably 5 semi-tractors trying to fit in between the tracks while the train comes, and that don't work. And their railroad basically said to us their only fix is to close the crossing. And that doesn't work real well for Northeast Township or Northeast Borough. We have Bay Valley Foods there. We have on one side of the tracks, Silgan Plastics is on the other side of the tracks. They make the bottles at Silgan, and they truck them over to Bay Valley across this. There's also Ridge Rack has a warehouse on Luna Street right there, and they have a powder coating place right there. So, I mean, closing this is really not an option, but what we basically talked about is trying to initiate something to do a study. The township and the borough have also taken it upon themselves, with the permission of the railroads, to help clear the site distances, which we are doing currently. And PUC is basically wanting something and study would be at least the start. And a few better options than what we have.
Gus, for those that might not know the kind of the location or familiar with the area, it's like just south of the middle of your downtown, correct? And kind of provides access that way, right?
Loomis Street starts at Route 20, heads south.
Yep.
And goes to Route 426.
Okay, yeah.
It's an artery it keeps that semi-traffic out of the center of town. Closing this intersection would put everything through the center of town, and there is a lot of trucks going through. The other problem with putting all the traffic through the center of town, there's an underpass on Route 89 that some of the trucks will not fit on. Some of the trucks couldn't even go there. So it is I don't know if Pat can hear, if there's anything Pat wants to add.
No, I appreciate it, Gus. Really, I mean, this is an identifiable area that we've highlighted in several of our planning sessions. Unfortunately, it's been the unwitting victim of several accidents over the course of the last several years. I think what we're trying to look for right now is some further information as far as viable options here. Closing the intersection is not a viable option for our communities. Again, in addition to the business community that's within this area, there's 3 neighborhoods that border this area that use this route as the route to school. So this is a critical area. And again, to PennDOT's side of things, it's a critical area because that truck traffic would be pushed out on 426. That traffic, that road and that intersection, 426 and 89 cannot substantiate this type of traffic. So really, I think in our best interest, we are really looking for viable options and opportunities here to not only keep and allow for the business community to succeed, which they are expanding. These are great paying jobs. This is a great community area, and we'd love to see them expand even further in the coming years. But we really want to have a solution that we can come back to the railroads with that would make real tangible sense for all parties. And I think with the PUC's assistance, I think we're able to have that negotiation without it being strong arm force on us. So I think information is vital, and the study would be really beneficial to us going forward.
This would certainly give them minimal funding, but assist them in going down that road, correct?
Yes, yes. So I would say that given the complexity of this and the fact it's in our long-range transportation plan, the possibility exists for this committee to allocate 2 years of funding to this project, which does make a lot of sense given that the complexity of the site. It will probably go 2 years regardless. So that would be $19,000 each year. So it would be a total of $38,000 over 2 years. And the local, both the township and borough are willing to put in 9,500 of their local funds to make a 20% match. And there still would be $80,000 available July 1st for any other study. So it's not taking away from our base funds. This is just the extra IIJA funding that we received. So it makes a lot of sense from a UPWP programmatic view to do the full 38,000 for the 2 years to the study. But that is up to this committee to make that decision.
And nobody else is.
No one else applied for these
Okay.
funds. No other entity in the county applied, so. Yeah.
Okay, with that being said, looking for, is it a motion to award
Yes.
funding to?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, so we're looking for a motion to award funding to, is it Northeast Borough and Township?
Let me. It is officially, I guess officially, Northeast Borough and Northeast Township, yes, are the organizations that applied.
Okay, do I have a motion to award that funding?
So moved, Derek Martin.
Derek Martin, motioned. Will, do you have a second? Sure. Second by Will Rogers. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right. Agenda item number 7, performance targets. First is safety, Emily.
Well, actually, really fast, there's the other part of UPW.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. So there's the Safe and Accessible program. So these funds could not be used for the railroad crossing. These were specifically towards pedestrian, bicycle, vulnerable road users, planning activities. So no municipality requested these funds. They were offered to all municipalities. So internally with MPO staff, we discussed holding workshops with these funds to advertise complete streets policies and get input on a potential template that municipalities could approve if they wanted to. There are a lot of benefits to complete streets, especially when there is a plan that is enforced, such as any new paving projects will reduce lane widths or will add a sidewalk. Something like that, but trying to figure out actually how to integrate that into government and the normal processes of municipal planning and construction is a big hurdle. So hopefully with these workshops, we can discuss the issues that are affecting municipalities and how best to address them. And if anyone wants to adopt a policy, MPO staff will assist. So if that idea or that programming of the funds is acceptable to the MPO, you can vote to allocate those funds now.
Okay. Is there a motion to allocate those funds to the
Safe and Accessible program.
Safe and Accessible program?
I'll make that motion.
By Mr. Welka. Do I have a second on allocating those funds to the Safe and Accessible program? Have a second? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Now we can move on to agenda item number 7, performance targets, safety first with Emily.
All right, so we do have to adopt safety targets. This is a federal requirement. PennDOT is nice enough to actually calculate the baseline and target for us, but we as an MPO have to either adopt PennDOT's numbers, or the other option is to go out and formulate our own numbers. which is beyond our capacity here at the Erie MPO. So I would highly recommend this board adopt PennDOT's targets for safety.
Do I have a motion to adopt PennDOT safety performance targets? Motion by Matt Waldinger. Do I have a second?
Jason, second.
Jason Sayers on a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Then moving on to transit performance targets. Danny, is she on the line?
Actually,
Yep, I'm here.
oh, perfect.
Hello.
Hello. All right. So everyone can see the transit asset management conditions and then the targets, the agenda packet. So this is a group plan. So over the Pennsylvania transit agencies, there are targets we like to reach with the rolling stock equipment and the facilities. So last year, our target was pretty much not met for the rolling stock. A lot of the agencies still have pretty antiquated fleets. So hopefully we can meet that target next year. And then for the equipment and the facilities, I think we are doing pretty good right now. But does anyone have any questions? I think we do need to vote on these targets.
Yes, we do. Any questions of Danny before we call for a vote? All right, do I have a motion to is it set the performance?
I guess adopt.
Adopt the transit performance target?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Welka. Do I have a second?
Second, Chris Grunner.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, Danny, you might as well stay on the line for a second. As far as moving on to agenda item number 8, project updates, anything from EMTA?
Yes, so we, a couple weeks ago, at the beginning of the month, we had Stuff the Bus, which was a great success. We collected about twice the amount of boxes that we did last year. We held the Northwest Transit Managers meeting here last week, so we got some good information. It's always good for us to come together and kind of talk about the issues and concerns that we do have and collaboratively, you know, work on those. So last week was also the Older Drivers Awareness Week. So we had our marketing team and our compliance manager attend the event at GCAC and PennDOT. We also will be updating a number of our shelters. If not, we've already done some of those already. I don't know if you've seen the one at the Erie County Community College. So that will be serviced as of December 17th when we do put our new route changes in effect. We have started an external newsletter. So if anyone is interested in receiving that, you can either sign up on the website or on social media just by submitting your email address. And we have also accepted a new vision, mission, and values, which will be included on our new strategic plan. And that is it.
Excellent. Thank you, Danny. Any questions of Danny? All right, moving on to PennDOT District 1 update is Ron. All right, great.
Just have a few quick updates. Depot Road project, we just submitted the NPDS permit November 4th. So if anyone knows anything about the time it takes to approve an NPDS permit, it's going to make the let date a little difficult to attain of the April 27th let date. But we have been in contact with the Erie County Conservation District, and there's some new staff there that's actually been turning around project permits a lot quicker. So we're hopeful that we can get that approved before the March 23rd advertisement date to get that project out and keep it on schedule. And by doing that, we'll also keep that project within the 2023-2024 construction season. If for some reason you need to pump that date back a bit, we'll likely push that project into 2025 due to the concrete up by the TA station and I-9. Because of the detours required there, just constructability of concrete pavements. The next one's Bayfront. We are doing hopefully the last checks on the Allen Head Bridge. And I think if anyone's seen one of the latest or the last updates on the newsletter, had the October date on there, that has been updated to February 16th, 2023, just for everybody's information. But and we're hoping to hit that one and some work out there pretty soon. Last one, and I think I mentioned this last meeting, is the Niemeyer Road Bridge. That date has been adjusted. Likely going to need to move that later into 2023. I don't have a concrete let date on that yet, but we are committed to getting that out. Mention that. And all I had before, just wanted to mention that tomorrow, 15th, there is a public meeting for the Beckman Road Bridge feasibility study. That's actually part of the I-90 reconstruct project, the sections 4 and 5. Public officials briefing starting at hopefully around 3:30. We'll go to 4:30 p.m. Then the actual public meeting is 5:30 to 7:30. And that's at the Rice Avenue Middle School cafeteria. If anyone needs that address, feel free to let me know. We're going to introduce the project, talk about the entire I-90 project, corridor project, and about the feasibility findings of possibly removing the Beckman Road Bridge. So urge everybody to attend. See you there.
Great. Any questions of PennDOT?
Courtney has some more.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, no problem. So I wanted to let everybody know, we talked about the safety vulnerable road user project that is going to be going on in District 1. They've moved forward, and as far as I know, we have approval for the actual project and to use HSIP funding for it. I don't have a list of every municipality that we already have spoken to and started entering into agreements with, but I will follow up with that. We haven't had an update on the carbon reduction program and those funds that are going to be coming since the last meeting. So I'll keep you guys updated as we get information on that. We are doing an interim update on the our area's ROP plan, which is for traffic. It looks at traffic signals, it looks at ITS information and other traffic updates that might be necessary. We are looking at, because we've been successful in our area getting TISMO funding, which is when we apply every 2 years for a 50-50 match on ITS equipment. We have been successful, and we have a few more areas that we can look at in the Erie area for our next possible application. So we are going to focus on getting ready for the next full ROP update, which will be in 2 years. We're going to hopefully regionally try to look at it like we would an LRTP. So we will look at any area that we might be interested in going for any sort of funding, whether it be TISMO, whether it be something that would be ITS specific, like your HARS message boards, variable message boards, variable speed, permanent speed signs, gates, that kind of a thing. So we will be looking at updating that and creating a new list of projects we want to submit in the next 2 years. And then the last thing I just wanted to let everybody know is we had submitted, we talked about it a couple meetings ago, the Reconnecting Communities grant. They came back to us and asked for some additional information as a part of the application review. So I'm hoping that that is a good sign for that particular application. We submitted it a week ago, the additional information, and I'll let everybody know as soon as we hear something.
That's for the Sassafras.
That's for the
pedestrian.
Sassafras pedestrian bridge. Yes, that is correct.
All right.
That's everything. Unless, was there something I was missing?
Oh, the gates
Oh.
that are being installed, did you find the
Yes, so
locations?
we received back, I believe it was in the 21/22 PIF award, which is project funding that is given for new innovative technologies that might be used within the district. It's a fund that is awarded statewide. We've gotten money in the past for our drone and for different just, website ideas that we might have had or different technologies we wanted to incorporate. We submitted an application for gates along on-ramps on 90. And we're awarded funds for, I believe, 4 locations. And 2 of them are at 6N, I believe. And then 2 of them are on the other side of 90 towards New York. Yeah. They are looking at putting those out, and hopefully we're going to be seeing them in 23. So traffic right now is working with, looking at a contract, and we're hoping to have that contract put out in 2023. So.
And is that to close during a winter event?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So they've been used in New York State
Yeah,
and other places. There was question as to whether or not they would be permitted in the state of Pennsylvania. This would be the first location on an interstate that they would be tested, and we'll be testing for, and then potentially, if they are successful, if the pilot is deemed successful, that could be something that we might be interested in putting on our ROC plan for incident management for traffic. As well as there is a study right now on permanent variable speed limit signs in District 2 that was awarded as a part of this type of funding. We're doing an analysis on that. If that is a successful pilot, that might also be something that we'd be interested in putting on our ROC plan for potentially applying for money in the future to be able to put those so that you can enforce the speed limits or speed restrictions during snow events.
What's the estimated cost on 4 gates? Any idea?
No, it's not a lot. I don't know what like maintenance and stuff is going to be.
I just unplugged her.
Oh,
Apologies that
we
lost the owl. Sorry about that.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Okay,
It just,
curious.
There's been some initial discussions just about, we've seen them in other states that look pretty simple.
Yep.
There's been discussion as to whether or not do they need to be
of investment and stuff. So some of those details we're still working through.
Okay. All righty.
okay.
All right.
Hopefully it's back.
Thank you,
online
District
now.
1. Moving on to, is Brandon still on the line for any sort of a central office update?
Yes, Tim. I'm here. There wasn't a lot going on in terms of other updates statewide, but we did recently receive word that yesterday the Governor Tom Wolf announced that 20 municipalities will receive a total of $5 million in grant funding to install and maintain traffic signal technologies throughout PennDOT's traffic signals technologies grant program. And 2 of those municipalities were in Erie County. Those were Summit and Mill Creek Townships, where $441,200 for signal system upgrades and connection to PennDOT's unified command and control software along Peach Street was awarded. So that's all I had from my end. I apologize for the background noise.
No problem.
Okay.
And then is Ronique Bishop on the line today for a federal update?
I don't think she did join.
No?
so
Okay.
there might
Hi
be-
there.
She is.
I'm not sure if Ronnie's on from FHWA, but my name's Abby Lowe and I'm the new FTA community planner rep. For
Thank you,
Erie.
Abby.
So just wanted to introduce myself and I look forward to working with you all.
Great. Thank you. That's it then, right?
Yeah,
Moving on
yeah.
to other business. Emily, annual obligation report.
Yes, so every year we have to have an annual listing of obligated projects. So I just wanted to let everyone know, last year we got over $74 million in federal funds for transportation in Erie County. A lot of this goes towards the interstate, so it's not necessarily voted on by the MPO, but we're still getting the money into the county, which is a good thing. So we don't have to adopt this plan, but it is posted on the Erie MPO website. It includes a project list of every single project that received an obligation, including our transit projects. So it's a comprehensive report. So I would highly recommend people download it from the website or read it from the meeting packet.
Right. It's a significant amount of money into the
It
area.
is,
Yes.
it is. And that is just federal. So that's not state or local. It's specifically the federal funds.
All right. And then moving on to setting the meeting schedule for 2023. I don't know if Mr. Waldinger had a chance to look at the proposed dates for the TAC and the coordinating. So I would call for a vote to adopt the 2023 meeting schedule. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. McNulty. Matt will second that. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, and the second hearing of the public now, is there any other, oh, actually, Mr. Neff.
Yes, I would represent the borough and the township, like to thank the MPO.
Oh, certainly.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. Any other hearing of the public?
Yes, this is Fred. I have a couple follow-up comments. I still have not heard when there will be public involvement for the bikeway project and the EMTA. I was concerned. I heard they're proceeding with their strategic plan. There's been no public involvement. And I want to share a comment from a rider who said there has been no signage about the schedule change. She said that it would be important to see signage on the buses, in the shelters. And she said different people use different ways of information gathering, and they should use all means available. I wonder if any of them have ever seen or thought about the impact of a missed bus on a custody hearing or a job interview or medical procedure. Standard places, inside buses and at the shelter. Not everyone does smartphones, especially the elderly. Also, non-English speakers would be more likely to respond to signage than English Facebook posts and English news stories and various others. So that's a comment about lack of public notice for the schedule change for the EMTA.
Okay. Any other hearing of the public?
Pastor Helminski here.
Yes.
I'd like to announce that our next E&D meeting will be January 19th of 2023. Instead of historically, we always met at 1 p.m. We're meeting at 12:30 to allow people who have lunches to pop in and give their input. And we're going to pick up where we left off with our strategic planning. Thank you.
Thank you. And any other public comment? Hearing none, want to wish everybody happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to you. Thank you for all your participation. We look forward to seeing more of you even in 2023. Thank you to Summit Township for their hospitality today. As always, we appreciate it. And I'll call for a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.